What is going on out there, young world? The world is yours, and welcome to another episode of the Desire is Everything podcast. I am one half of your host, Sam Wright, creation coach, father, brother, servant to all. But more importantly, I'm here to serve the world and help people find their desire and their purpose.
I'm your second half of your host, Jason Wright, co-owner of Desires Everything podcast, co-owner of Die Fam. Like I tell people, a man on many side quests or just missions in life, just trying to figure it out.
All right, y'all. As always, we have a very special guest today, my dear friend, Antonio Patton, who is a husband, a father, a brother, and just like me, just like Jason, he is a servant to many, and he's also the CEO and founder of M.O.V.E Inc., which has also started the youth empowerment platform, Barbershop Talks. My brother, how you doing today, man?
Man, I'm blessed, man. So excited to be here with you, your son, and man, just I can't even put it into words what I've experienced in just this short moment.
Hey, man, well, we appreciate you for being here, and like I said, let's get it popping. Tell us, what is M.O.V.E Inc.?
M.O.V.E Inc., man, is a non-for-profit that was built from my testimony, man. Men of Vision Empowering, basically a platform, man, that pursues the lost, the wrote off, the ugly, the stained up, the misunderstood, the confused, the downtrodden, and those that people look over.
And where did that vision come from?
It came from the simple situation myself. Those are the things that people spoke over my life. I was never supposed to live to see 16. I was never, and if I did see 16, I for sure wasn't going to see 18. And a lot of people spoke death on my life because of the lifestyle that I had, lived as a young man. Nevertheless, man, as they were writing me out, God was writing me in.
And we're all in Indianapolis right now, but give us some background where you come from and how you made to Indy.
Yeah, man, south side of Chicago, Illinois, man. Had a short stint in Phoenix, Arizona, but just a kid, that single mom coming through the south side of Chicago, through a city that is mandated that you either run fast or fight well. So those are your two options. And eventually you're going to have to just learn how to fight well, to be quite honest, because eventually it's going to be somebody a little bit faster than yourself. So that in the just, man, is what it is, man. And in a short stint of Phoenix, a little bit of West Coast lifestyle, got entangled in gang banging and drug dealing. And so here I sit today, man, a man that wore so many masks and now willing to reveal the real truth and the hidden secrets behind the mask.
So our history goes back 20 years. We used to play basketball at a famous gym in Indianapolis called Leinart's.
Yes.
And if we wasn't on the same teams, we was definitely bumping heads. Cause the brother didn't back down from nobody. He got it all in his repertoire. Jumper, post up. Like I say, he's a pure athlete. So like I say, if you wasn't running with him, it was a problem. So give me some background, because I didn't know you personally back then. I just always knew we was always at the gym Saturday. You come in with your crew, I come with my crew.
Right.
If we end up on teams, it was a problem. But like I said, give us some background back then, them early 2000s, what you were into.
Wow, man. That late 90s, early 2000s, man. Trying to figure out life, really. Confused, and not realizing that whatever I did for men that looked like me, that I looked up to, it was always a hidden string, a hidden motive, and hidden agenda. I thought they authentically loved me, but they never really loved me for who I was. It was what I could do for them. And those days, basketball was my therapist. That was therapeutic, because it was hard to get 11 guys to play my number one sport, football, but basketball was the next best thing for me. Boxing, it actually was football, boxing, then baseball, and basketball came last.
Pure
honestly. Athlete. But yeah, man, that's just where you went for your therapy, man. You went to get it in, to get away. That was what a lot of times I hear, unfortunately, people talk about in drugs, that their escape is their drug. Basketball was my escape. That was the one place that, I could find pure, peace, and That was just what it was for me, man. A place to get away from all what the chatter, the screams, and the noises.
Got you. So then when you fast forward 20 years, we run into each other at a high school basketball game. I think that was last year, maybe.
Yeah.
We talk. We chop it up. We exchange numbers. Nothing comes of it. Then my son brings you back to my attention. He's like, "Don't you know Antonio Patton?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "Man, I see he has a program going on." And here it is. A couple weeks later, we done linked up. We done been to your program. So tell us more about the program that you have, Barbershop Talks.
Wow, man. It's a God mission thing, man. Most of all, man, thank you for the, I want to go all the way back as you're introducing me, man. What's most critical, man, is never what, you think of yourself, but what's critical to me in my life is what my wife and kids say about me. Those that know me behind the scenes, naked, unashamed, the wrongs, the right, the flaws and all. When those that you love the most and those that see you the most in your suit and out of your suit, because the world only sees you, for a moment, But my wife, that it's pillow talk time. It's cuddling on the couch, falling asleep, and she sees me unashamed, naked, flaws and all, and she's my greatest accountability.
Amen.
And so.
Shout out to Mrs. Patton.
Yeah, man. Tanisha Yvette Patton, man, a.k.a. the Fox, man, the love of my life.
Hey, man.
The oxygen in my lungs. She is everything, man. But yeah, my kids. And so all of that birth from those missing bridges that we all grew up. Barbershop Talk was basically birthed as God was allowing me to do this thing where we take young men on a trip. And it's about 15 throughout the day, and we take them on a trip called "Can You Believe It's You?" And we intentionally, strategically strategize on taking them and experiencing the high of the high scale restaurants. And these restaurants don't have price tags, and these are kids out of areas like Brightwood, Hallville, and Footloose, and the Nickel, Clean Side, you name a hood, this is the kind of kids
2G.
we pursue. Yeah, man,
Yeah.
24th Street Mad Dog, 16th Crew, like you can go on and
Yes,
on,
sir.
Delaware, Jersey. But these are who we intentionally pursue because I found out that there's no mental health therapist when we go through the traumatic traumas. There's nobody unpacking us. All they're doing is processing it on what we're always doing is processing it on our own, just trying to figure it out. Just about a month ago, I'd say 4 to 6 weeks ago, a young man witnessed someone being murdered on the Far East Side, and he was like, I was right there when he got popped, and he just started dribbling the basketball. Like, I'm desensitized. This is the normal.
Right.
Will y'all hurry up and move the yellow tape, get the body out the way so I can hoop? This is the norm.
And this is a human being being murdered.
And this kid's like 11. No father present, nobody to impact. So M.O.V.E had that opportunity. And as I was driving, I'm gonna fast forward to the day and that event. Of course, we take them on. It's just we make the breakfast intentional. We go to like an Indy kart where you get to put on the full uniform, and these karts are real fast.
Yeah.
And, it's top notch speeds, and we just make that day incredible intentionally for them to realize that you don't have to be Floyd Mayweather to experience this lifestyle. It's all about setting your budget, setting your financial goals up, and pursuing them. And so we dropped everybody off, and our last kid was going my directions, 21st and Franklin area, and I live just a little bit further east, and I'm driving 15 passenger, and he screams, "Hey, Mr. P!" I look in the mirror because his passion grabbed my attention. I was like, "Yeah, what's up, man?" He said, "Man, you know what's wrong with your adults?" The one thing I realized is he wanted to say this all day.
All day, he holding on to it.
But it was so many people present, so many others, that he wasn't able to share it. He said, "Man, you know what's wrong with you adults, man?" I said, "Man, please enlighten me." He said, "Man, y'all hear us as youth, but y'all don't listen to us, man. And another thing, Mr. P, you adults ain't always right." And so I get in front of his house, park the van, turn the key off, and I'm like, "Man, you know what? You're absolutely right. give me some more. He's like, no, Mr. P, I ain't got time tonight. But the next time I see you, I'm gonna bust your head. Bust my head. Man. He's like, come on, Mr. P, you're
He
an
got some
OG.
knowledge on you.
Yeah, he said, you know what that means. And this kid is 15 at the time, and he's saying, comb your head, give you some meat, give you some knowledge, some wisdom, some game. I said, okay. On my way home, God said, did you hear him? I said, Lord, I heard him. God said, did you hear him? I said, Lord, I heard him. God said, you're one of the worst. I said, well, God, what did I do? He said, you're always talking about when you were their age, but you've never been their age in this era, exposed to what they're exposed to and processing the now. He said, you got some familiarities, some similarities. He said, but you couldn't surf the World Wide Web at the palm of your hand when you was 14.
Totally different now.
He said, you couldn't pull up a phone and every naked woman in the world could come into your bedroom without your mom being present.
Totally different now.
He said, you couldn't see somebody saying, check on your peoples and a dead body live on the social media web. He said, shut up, give them a place to express themselves, and I'll give you the combination to their heart, but you better not fumble. And I didn't know what that looked like. And of course, we are so busy making procrastination excuses when something happens. So I didn't. I was intent to move. Like, oh man, I heard you, God, but distractions come from so many ways.
Don't they? Yes, sir.
And within 2 weeks, that young man was face down at Dewberry Park, deceased. And that trajectory of that situation and me not being able to have that conversation with him, for him to bust my head, for him to put more knowledge on me, launched the birth of Barbershop Talk. Barbershops are everything in Chicago. First place you go to get your hair cut, first place you get a job sweeping hair, first place you run when the police get behind you. Not realizing the whole time that a lot of times, depending on the relationship with the barber and the client, they're the first pastors, first mental health coaches,
Yes, sir.
life coaches.
Yeah.
They're speaking life into you, trying to get you, set you up for entrepreneurship. And all kind of conversations are going on, and it's 7, 8 different chairs. You're talking about sports, you're talking about finances, somebody's empowered.
Relationships, yeah.
Everything.
Everything.
And so God said, this is a place. And we put some clippers in some guy's hand, and man, shout out to every barber, man, and I don't want to miss no names. Y'all know who you are that
Indeed.
show up every day without a pay. I don't pay them. I can't afford them. Just giving away $35 to $45 haircuts every Tuesday from their heart
Impact.
to give an opportunity to hear from the youth. And God began to let me know that a lot of times as adults, we are always projecting to the youth the solutions, but not asking them what's needed.
What's needed? How do you feel? What's going on in your mind? And I don't want people to miss this. Very tragic that this young man lost his life, right? Very tragic. But I can honestly say he fulfilled a purpose. He fulfilled a purpose. Because without him having that conversation with you, who's to say Barbershop Talks would ever been launched? You know, he fulfilled a purpose. And I say this often, you know, your obedience is tied to someone else's destiny.
Wow.
He was obedient to what was on his heart that day, what was on his mind,
True.
and he fed it to you. So that has forever changed your destiny. And then by you being obedient to what God gave you at that moment, because you had to be receptive of what he said and what God said.
So true.
You had to be receptive of it. And so now you are changing the lives of all these other young men because you listen to this young man and you listen to God. So I want to commend you for that, brother, because we often miss the message. We often miss being obedient to what the word is telling us, what God is telling us, and what our fellow man is telling us. So I commend you for that, brother. I really do.
I want to commend you too, because just from these past couple of years, I can say that the barbershop has changed, especially with COVID and people not being able to get their haircuts for almost a year or however long that has been. And so you go into these barbershops, now they got limits on how many people can even come in because they scared of COVID. Wow. But the fact that you were able to bring this back to now we can talk in the barbershop, like you said, 6, 7, 8 barbers cutting hairs and just talking to the person in their chair. And then with the fact of even we started our podcast, or at least the way our podcast started was through a podcast at our barbershop.
Yep.
And to see this be a full circle moment where now it's another opportunity for a barbershop to have conversations with young black males, because that is a pivotal influence and pivotal point in a black male's life, is going to that barbershop and talking to the men behind them cutting their hairs, or just the men pouring into that young black male's life. I feel like that's pivotal, and I want to give you your flowers, and I applaud you for everything that you do for our community.
Man, listen, man, like I did not know what I was set up for on this podcast. I mean, I'm so humbled, man. Man, I'm speechless, man. Thank you. And thank you. And I know all three of us know that we're just a rag in God's hand.
Come on now.
And that's who ultimately, his name is Jesus, and he gets all the glory, man. I'm just honored that the man that I look at in the mirror was able to be out of the way of what God was wanting to do in that moment.
Yes.
And that's the monster that I have to fight every day. I tell him, there's nothing on planet Earth that can stop me other than the person I see in the mirror.
Come on, man.
So long as I'm inclined to the ear of what God is speaking and I'm obedient, God is looking for agents every day
Yes,
that
sir.
will surrender to his mission. And I keep telling my wife, I said, he'll never be able to operate without a veil because he would be operating illegally. He intentionally stayed on the cross for a reason. And so I get an opportunity, man, to sit in the presence. And how old are you?
20.
Oh my God. Listen, man, and I know this is desires, everything, but I wasn't ready, man. As you were speaking about that young man fulfilling, I never had sensed that.
Yeah.
I never got that. And from all the years of trauma and anger that I hid behind the mask, I'm not afraid to cry now. I found out the most powerful man is a man that's able to cry.
Ain't that it?
A man that's able to release. I always tried to hide it because of the upbringing of an uncle punching you in your chest, telling you better not cry. If you cry, you're weak. And I found out it was such a lie.
Yes.
Such a lie, man.
The misconceptions we were taught as children.
Such a lie. I shortchanged people because I had mask on. I was so busy trying to be somebody that I never was. And I robbed the world for multiple years of knowing Antonio Patton.
Ain't that it?
Trying to live up to an image, a facade, a cliche, a nickname that they gave me in the hood that meant nothing. So long as I was bringing them goods back, my nickname was relevant and prevalent. But when I became that person that no longer could produce, I was just like the running river with a piece of trash on it, just floating down the streams. Wrote off, no longer talked about. And that is what is bothering me, even in this spectrum of doing this kind of work. There's so many powerful men in the same line of work, but we're siloed up. And so I was so honored when God allowed me to see you on Facebook, and I just seen the pod. I didn't know I was going to be a guest on this thing. I didn't know I would be asked to come to this huge platform to get an opportunity to be on Desire Everything. I just seen you, and God said, call him.
Amen.
It was nothing else. He didn't tell me what to do. It was just like, get in touch with him. And I sent a message, and I know now that it was for a purpose.
Indeed.
It was an accident. It wasn't coincidental. And I'm just grateful, man, to be here. But to see this young man, a black man, a son, to be by his father's side, do you know how rare that is?
Extremely.
And I say that because parental guidance is typically trumped by parental guidance. A lot of times the peers, the peers influence your kids because they're at school with them. But to see this young man, I can see that he was able to navigate and fight through that.
Yeah, they tried. They tried to take it from me. They tried. I wasn't going.
I'm in this same battle, man. To see this, man, this like I'm lost for words, man. And I didn't get a chance to take a picture, man. But what happened with him? And how's your other son? That
How old are you, Levi?
to see an 11-year-old son interact with a 20-year-old son, and the touch of what most young men would say is not cool. Don't touch my waves. Like, don't lean up against me. To see a 20-year-old young black man be able to come down to the level of an 11-year-old brother and remain a constant touch, we miss it.
Yes.
I wish I could have took a picture of it because I looked over there and I seen him just embrace it. And I was like, oh my God, do you know what you just did for me as a father? The most, a father always wants their children to be best friends.
Come on.
Best friends. It don't get you can't find a greater friend
Right.
than this right here.
Yeah, because that's what you grew up with. That's who knows you and knows what you about.
Facts.
And I want to pause, pivot back to you because I asked you what allowed you to do that, and you said to me,
It's a comfortability, knowing
Trust.
trust, comfortability, knowing that I'm there for him and he's there for me. But another thing is I want to give props to my sister. Just her being in the mental health field and the acquiring therapy or trying to be a therapist and all that, it's allowed me to look at life from a different lens. And so I know one of the things we talk about at home is, especially with my younger brothers, is love language. Now, for some people, it might be communication. Some people, it might just be presence, or some people, it can be physical touch. And I know for him, one of his is physical touch.
wow.
And so just allowing him to be comfortable and knowing that, okay, this is how I love my brother. This is how I love my father and my sister. So if I want to just lay my head on them for the 2 seconds, 3 seconds, or however long, I can do that. Because I never know what he's going through inside his mind or what he's battling. But just if I can just stand there and he can lay his head on me, I don't know what that's doing for him. But I know that's one way he can love me. So at the time when you asked the question, I didn't have a full answer for you. But as you continue talking, it's like, okay, what was instilled in me for those moments for him to be able to now at 11 years old or however long I've known that his love language was physical touch, what was instilled in me and how did I learn that? So I feel like that's one of the reasons why I was able to allow him to do that.
Wow. Yeah, man. I'm messed up. I'm messed up, man. Thanks for inviting me on, but I wasn't prepared. I don't know how to do scripted. I don't know how to be rehearsed.
Authentic.
Man, what's coming out of him, man, is just, it got me in such a space right now. This man said I've learned that his love language is physical touch.
Yeah.
And to everybody out there that is looking at this amazing podcast and seeing the raw, the behind the scene, the unrehearsed, the unscripted, for every young black man, from young to old, this is why our youth needs the platform. Their words are rectifying. A lot of times we say they are the future. I believe they are the now. They are the right now. And if we would get out of the way, get our egos, our pride, and our moxie and set it to the side, and it's not an easy feat. It takes, I can't give it no other credit but to a man named Jesus that loved me and broke me. Ain't nothing like a broken man that's unashamed to share their good, their bad, their ugly, and their nasty, because that's how we free one another. When I can tell on myself, I strip the power in your ability to press me and to hold something over me, because I've already told you about that myself.
Come on now.
And when this young man just released that power, do you know how many young black boys is missing their brothers and their sisters because their love language is physical touch, and we think it's just not cool. It's just not cool because the social media and what they're pressing on us to be tough and to be this and to be that. And I'm finding out that some of the toughest guys, and I'm talking about from bums to billionaires, if somebody would have gave them an opportunity to just touch them, they would know that they were loved. They would know that they were loved. We got to wake up, black men all over the world. This young man has just given us a jewel to put in our quill. And I'm getting ready to take that power right back to my home.
Come on now.
And have a family conversation about a love language that was given to me by a 20-year-old black man that's broken early. Now imagine, I'm sitting here at 49. Imagine if we had this kind of pour when we were 11, 14, and 15. Imagine a father, and I know as he sits here, he's got to be so proud.
Extremely.
So proud. And I might need a needle to get him out of the door, because I know if I was the father, my head would be big as the MetLife blimp. I'd be feeling myself, and I'd be honored that I got a young black man at 20 that's able to open their mouth, project, and let you know that strength is in knowing my siblings' love language.
Boy, I can't follow that up. What you want me to say?
Oh, goodness.
What you want me to say?
Thank you.
No, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. I think that's like you said, especially because I wasn't
Go some tissue.
always raised to obviously know that stuff. Like you said, you have your parental guidance from your parents, but you also have that parental guidance. And same thing with me, when you growing up, showing love wasn't cool. Like, I didn't start telling my friends, like, I love you, bro, I appreciate you, until probably when I hit 17, 18. Because that wasn't cool. You was weird to say, oh, I appreciate you, bro. Now I just started telling my friends I'm proud of you.
Wow.
And you don't know how far that goes. Like in our last episode with my friend, a great friend of mine, Tavon Williamson, grew up two different ways. I had both parents in the household. He had his
Mother and stepfather.
mother and stepfather. And the way we grew up was different. My father told me, go be great. I'm proud of you. But he didn't hear that. But when I told him that, it almost broke him down. We was in a gym parking lot. And I said, hey, bro, I'm proud of you. I appreciate you. He said that was the first time somebody had ever told him that. But as black men, we don't often do that. Why? What's missing for us not to be able to tell another brother, I'm proud of you?
Wow.
So, like you said,
I'm messed.
I propose to everybody, go tell somebody you proud of them. Especially if you see somebody out here working hard, somebody who's trying to find a better way. For the young fellas that's in the gym shooting 500 to 1,000 shots a day. To the young fellas that's trying to take care of their younger siblings because their mom is working 2-3 jobs and they don't see that every day, or they don't see her every day. We have to start telling even your parents. Tell your parents you're proud of them. My father tells me he appreciates me. I tell him I appreciate him because I know, or I don't know as far as seeing, but I know as far as what he's told me, what he's had to go through when it came to raising me and my siblings, along with my mother. I'm proud of her. I know it's not easy raising kids, especially in today's day and age. Like you said, you got so much at the touch of your phone.
Access.
It's a whole nother world that they can't even, they might try to keep us away from, but at the same time, it's almost impossible because what we have to go through when we see what we see outside the world. So no, we have to have phones at this point because I need to be a call away from my child.
Wow.
But what are we missing? So I propose, like I said, go tell somebody you're proud of them.
So I had the opportunity to join you this past Tuesday at the barbershop talks. The room was packed. Like I said, I'm looking forward to them giving you another room because I'm quite sure we can double that real easy.
Sure.
As you started this process of the barbershop talks from then till now, what are some of the things that these young men have shared with you And how have you been able to help impact their lives?
Wow. There came a moment that I walked into the barbershop talking, as God is leading you, you're always trying to write something or prepare something, to be prepared
Right.
to bring something. Not so much as control it, but just kind of give a guided topic.
Right.
And it was so, what is the word? It was so time sensitive. It was just like a shift. The last young man came kind of late, and he caught me right as I was closing the door. And as he walked by, it was a shift. I didn't know what that shift was. But as we were getting ready to, go into the moment, it was like, we call it deja vu. But I know now is discerning. I used to always say, my spidey senses is tingling. I feel a certain kind of way. I'm getting this eerie feeling. All along, God had gifted me with what is called discernment. Those gifts, man, tell you and guide you to safety and away from danger if you're in tune and if you're obedient. In that moment, I was preparing a topic. I stood by the light, and God said, transparent moment. I said, okay. Somebody bumped the light, and it went off, and that was the conversation. I said, how many in here, as I turned the light back on, I knew that the power wasn't off. And I said, how many in here has lights? And of course, nobody wanted to answer. And I reassured them. I said, this is y'all's space. Let's not forget this door is sealed. This is a safe place.
Amen.
This vault will not ever leak. I promise you, I would die for that. What am I saying about a safe vault? If this young man shares his good, his bad, his ugly, and his nasty, can he trust you with it? Or will you use it as a weapon against him? Will you take my pain and put it on a billboard and laugh at me?
Come on, man.
Humiliate me? Make me feel even worse than I already feel? Because if you didn't know, it's a two-way trajectory with that. I could go off and use it as fuel if I got the right person with me, or it could cause me to go deeper down the rabbit's hole. And that deep down the rabbit hole, you can find me hanging in my closet. Because a lot of times it make me feel so less than, and I take myself, my own life. I know how to end all this pain. Or it could make me want to inflict pain on the one that caused my pain.
I did it.
It could make me want to come back at you. Are you laughing at my pain? At what hurts me? When I thought I could trust you? So when that light switch went off, about 22 men were in this space. 21 began to raise their hand. 21 from the light being off was the next question. Who has groceries? And nobody wanted to admit it. But when I said to the one guy that was bold enough to raise his hands, we're about to get you some groceries, all of the other hands went up.
They need to know they could be accepted.
Could be safe.
Yeah.
He was bold enough to do it. And that year, with no cameras, nobody knows.
Right.
Barbershop talk is more than a 2-hour conversation. We're connected to these kids for life. And that's every barber that comes in there. They have text messages and calls. Hey, man, just checking on you. Love you. Hey, you okay? I can't get to my game. I've got barbers that pull up from the far east side to the far west to take kids to basketball games.
Amen.
This ain't on a Tuesday. This is on a day when school is out. This is summertime.
Right.
But we were able to put $350 worth of groceries on each doorstep.
Amen.
Each
Service.
doorstep.
The service.
Behind the scenes. Do you know how them kids felt? Because they were able to go out and come to the front and give groceries to their families. I provided for my siblings. We let them walk the groceries into their houses. They had the power of the groceries in their hands. Hey, mama, we gonna eat tonight. Some of their best stuff, some of their favorite meals. So we was intentional on asking them, what's your favorite cereal? What's your quick meal that, you know, I don't want to cook all day. I want something real quick and I can get back to my movie or, you know, I get back to my game because a lot of them are gamers, you know, but whatever it is, we wanted to be intentional and make sure we had some of those items on the list, that quick and whip up meal. So, man, that is shifted the dynamics and that spewed a conversation called Can You Feel My Pain? Can you feel it? Do you know what it feels like to creep up on your light switch and hope it come on? Do you know what it feels like to, when you're at an event and they say you can have the leftovers, you're trying to figure out how to get the rest without being seen? Do you know what it feels like as a young black kid that ain't able to afford Christian Louis Vuitton or Dior or Gucci or Fendi, and everybody's saying if you ain't cool? The powers that may be. Barbershop Talk, man, has launched and catapulted and trajected in a way that I can't even keep up with it, and that's why it's critical and vital. I'm looking at you now on Desires Everything and telling you I need your help.
I'm there.
I need your help.
I'm there.
To every black man, to every man that's willing to help, I'm looking at you. I'm telling you, I need your help.
Yes, sir.
Your voice, the way you lead a conversation, man, with your permission, with your dad making it possible, to you, 11-year-old young man, I need your help. I need your help. Your voice is not for tomorrow, it's for right now. It's right now. It's some things that you feel like at 11 years old that you can't say because you don't think nobody will get it. With you keeping it inside, we can never get the combination to your heart. Open your mouth and share. And I believe without a shadow of a doubt, you got two men on my right and on my left that you can share exactly how you feel. They might not like it. They may not agree with it, but at least you got it out. Because it's better out than being held in. You know what a pressure cooker is? Pressure cooker is something that once it reaches a boiling temperature, if it don't escape, it explodes. Without a release, you're like a ticking time bomb. So if there's anything else going on inside of you, I would point you in this direction and this direction. This is Dad. Sometimes, Dad, I want to say it, but this might not come over too well. And how do I know this? Because I've been in barbershop talks and I see them move and they fidget. But the moment they found out they was safe, you should have heard the conversations. They were all in there screaming at me. But guess what? Every one of them had decapitated my head and put their mama or their grandma or their dad or whoever that guardian was in that house that they wanted to say it to, they were saying it. So Dad might be different, but you got another valve. And now you might not have the courage to say it right then, but I guarantee you this safe place will make sure, hey man, I'm gonna go in there with you, but you gotta tell Dad. This is something Dad needs to know. And I kid you not, it's impossible for any human on earth other than your mother to love you like this man. I used to always ask my kids before they go to sleep, who loves you? And they say, you, Daddy. And God told me to recorrect it because when I found and looked in the eyes of my mother, their mother, my wife, a mother's love is just different. Man, it hits different. A mother, God bless them all, we put them in some uncomfortable situations, and I did it to my mom. When I gangbang, when I drug deal, she didn't sleep well at night. The phone spooked her at 1 a.m. A midnight call just worried her. Didn't want to hear the phone at that time because her son went at home. Where is he at? Who's calling this late? I hope it's not the police. I hope it's not a corner. Conversations that I didn't get to have with my mom. I lost my mom in 1996. Been without my mom since I was 21. You get one shot at a mother. So every chance you get, know that every day is Mother's Day. Not just that symbolic one day that they call Mother's Day. So every chance you think about it, you might not be able to afford the card you want, but I'm sure you got somebody you can go to like, hey man, I'm feeling like doing something for my mama. Nah, I don't want you there, I don't want you there. It's just me. It's what I'm feeling. You can do that here, I guarantee it. But sometimes some of the greatest cards come when they're handwritten. Not from Hallmark and Walmart and Target, but from your heart. Some you just put on pen and paper. But you might say, man, I want to cook a steak, but I can't. So Dad, bro, give me some of the best steak you can get and make sure me and Mom's got the house to myself. I just want to talk to my mama.
Powerful.
And don't, not once, think that that same meal don't hit the same way when it's just you and Dad. Just you and Dad. A lot of times, we just men. A lot of times they don't really, necessarily know the value until we're gone. But I heard you say, I do. I'm proud of my dad. That's a lost art. A lot of times, men don't get to hear that because it's said over a headstone or a coffin. Because men, we know the trajectory of Mother's Day and Father's Day, they hit different. Not saying it's not some people that don't, because I got a phenomenal group of children in my life. My 3 daughters, my son, but my daughters, man, they go buck wild over me. And I can honestly say I've had some of the most remarkable Father's Days a father could ever have because of my daughters, my wife, my son. But it's a lot of men. You see the difference in like some Mother's Days, man. There's houses and cars given away.
Man.
Dads get ties and coffee mugs.
Yeah, they sell it, don't they? It's a celebration.
Yeah, man. It's a for real day, man. Our day, if we get a, hey, Dad, happy Father's Day, we'll take that. Because in all respect, we make it about the moms too. Mm-hmm. We do. But man, it feels good to hear a son say to his father, Dad, I'm proud of you. And at 11 years old, your words are more impactful than you would ever imagine. You're bold enough to stand in it. Desire is everything. And your intelligence and your smarts and your fight and your desire at 11, you're a lion. You're just not full grown yet. But don't think for one moment that your roar cannot be heard, because it can. And man, with that day, barbershop talk is to you, sir, behind the camera. I need you. We need one another, man,
Mm-hmm.
and that's what barbershop talk is all about.
Definitely.
Since that, it didn't start in the school. It actually started Executive Cuts, 38th and Post.
Okay.
Hair Above, 52nd and Keystone.
Mm-hmm.
Kenny's, 38th and Lafayette Road, and Mo Giggly's, right at 38th and Sherman.
Mm-hmm.
And we would go into those barbershops in the community every Wednesday, once a week, every week, 6 p.m. to 8 p.m. And it was open for the community. And now the community is screaming, and we have heard you. We are coming back to the community. 2024, we're rolling back out. We've got some more barbershops that are coming. And I need the men, I need the women. A lot of times you hear barbershop talk and you think it's just men, but we have women barbers now. We have women that's cutting men's hair, women that go from barber to beautician to lock. They're braiding men's hairs now. They're twisting them. And so a lot of the conversations in barbershop talks, the voice of a young lady is necessary.
Yeah.
And a lot of the chaos and the crimes are behind girl conversations, behind the relationship with a girl. So we need that dynamic and that voice in the barbershop talks.
Facts.
So when it was in the community, it was males is females, black women, black men in those barbershops. And we're coming back again. And Desires Everything, man. I'm so honored to be on this platform, but I was not prepared for you, man. I was not. I was not prepared. I met your father, but to see the second coming, to see his successor and his heir to the thrones, to see his symbols walk behind him, to be here present on this platform. If you don't know, man, people always talk about lioness because they do the hunting.
Mm-hmm.
But at night, the lion is asleep in the middle. It's only one lion that's up at that time. That's the king.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a boundary that he walks, the outer perimeter, and to make sure that no harm comes to those lions.
Mm.
And that's what your father do. That's why he sleeps different at the house. That's why you hear the, because he's up. He's want to look in. You sleep. There's times that you didn't even know it was there. He was just proud to look in on you. Your sister, your mom, your brother. This is what the king of the jungle does. 1 o'clock, 2 o'clock. There's no alarm clock set for us. It's just instinct. It's up. Nightfall. Check my windows. Check my door. Make sure my son's okay. Those are the things that people miss when you got a great father. Something about a father. Somebody that steals something in you. Somebody that'll fight for you. Somebody that'll die for you. I know what you got, man, because I see it in you. I see it in him. And I'm honored to be on y'all platform. And man, I cannot wait till George Washington get a hold of you and get an opportunity to hear you speak.
And
at 20 years old. And don't think for one moment, if there's a chance that I get to get that 11-year-old in there and he's bold enough, but you're the catalyst to his voice.
Facts.
You're the catalyst to his voice opening up right now. Right now, you're the voice that you have, you said it took you 17 to say, I'm proud, I love you. So your mission is to make sure it don't take him that long.
Powerful. So let the folks out there know how they either can contact you or what's your social medias. Get them a.
Oh, man. So once again, thank you, man. It's M.O.V.E. Inc. Men of Vision Empowering at gmail.com. And then the website is M.O.V.E. Inc. at I'm having lost.
We'll put it in the comments and
please do. I'm having a brain
the
spaz.
title.
But yes, you can get in touch with me that way, and then of course you can social media, which is soon to come, Facebook, Instagram, and all the social media handles. We're definitely revising that right now for 2024 because this thing is so beyond us.
Anything you want to say?
I appreciate you.
And I appreciate being here, and I appreciate you as well.
You gave me different insight on how to look at things, and just especially when I seen the news article, because that's how I first found out about Barbershop Talk, was when I seen a news article popped on my Facebook and I sent to my father, and just seeing that, it sparked another fire in me. And so I know I wanted to reach out to you, but luckily you got to my father first and then got to me. But it's just, I appreciate you for what you do for our community, black men, and what you did here today for us.
Wow. And I feel like I'm robbing you because I'm taking so much from y'all. Thank you, man, for being transparent, being who you are, and being bold enough to release.
So my brother gave us some. First of all, again, commend you, proud of you. Like I said, this is divinely inspired. You know, I tell people, Desires Everything was divinely inspired. I couldn't have came up with this. You know, God put it on my heart one day, and here we are 5 years later.
Wow.
But you made a powerful call to action, right? And us all being men of faith here, it's only fitting that, and it always pop back in my mind when we have a call to action. Genesis 3:9, where God called the man and said, "Where are you?" My brother said he need us. Where are we? How many times are we going to let life get in the way of us living a purposeful life, of us really achieving our desire? You know, I wrote in my journal the other day, major change. I'm going through a major financial change, and it's only because I haven't been fully living my purpose. I haven't truly been serving as I know I've been called to do. So again, God said to man, called to man, where are you? Where are you? It's been another episode of Desires Everything podcast. We end it the same way every time. Desires everything. Die.
Wow.
My brother.
Wow.
Man.
Wow.
I knew it was coming. I just know when.
Wow.